We live?
We're live.
Jimmy Nutrition.
Yes.
Really appreciate you being here, man.
Absolutely.
This is awesome. This is actually the first time that Jim and I have sat down. We've been following each other on Facebook and Instagram, social media. So this will be the first time that we're actually sitting down and talking about training. I see you waking up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, filling up your water bottles.
Yep.
So you definitely motivate me, dude. And then you put out awesome content. And what I really like is how simple it is to follow and how, real world it is for everyday people. Because, people read something about nutrition that one guy says this and the other guy says that. And I think obviously like everybody's different, so everybody can benefit from all the simple avenues and aspects of it. So I'm definitely excited to have you here for that. But Jimmy's a nutrition coach. He does it all. He does like individual breakdowns of people's calories, macros. He works with you on what to eat, how to eat, depending on who you are, like we were saying. He's done seminars. He even teaches a class for seniors in high school. I heard about you through POH, so shout out to POH, which is my buddy Adam Ferris's gym in New Jersey and all his awesome people out there. Jimmy just did a challenge with them and they got unbelievable results. And actually when I saw the results that you were getting with people, you and Adam combined, and all the awesome motivation from that gym, I was like, all right, I got to talk to this dude and get him on my podcast. Nice. But you're also you own a driver's ed school?
I own a driving school.
Like to me, that's a little risky, you know what I mean? Being in that car. If I have like 16-year-old Billy having like a little bit of road rage, asking questions, not sure, like, should I go now? Should I not go now? Like, has it ever gotten like hairy, like while you're in the car with 16-year-old Billy?
Absolutely. I started the driving school 10 years ago. I was doing all the driving when I first got started. There was one girl where it was she got nervous at high speeds, which 15 miles an hour was a high speed, and made a right turn in a development, and she panicked, hit the gas, did not let go of the wheel. I'm hitting the brake, but she's on the gas. We end up in a front yard. We're about to run into a house. And
you were in the front yard of that?
We went up the curb, sidewalk, on the front yard, heading for the house. She literally does like a U-turn as she's trying to make a right turn. Flies up the thing, I'm on the brake, and I'm going, brake, 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 brake. And she's like, I am. And I'm like, stop braking. So she
do you have that brake like in the middle?
We have a brake installed on the floor.
Gotcha.
So
I've been hitting that shit all day.
Yeah. So I've had some stuff, I've gotten the finger from other people. The best is a woman who, hanging out the side of her pickup truck, is yelling, learn how to drive, to a kid who's literally learning how to drive.
That's actually what we're doing. We're actually learning right now.
Yeah.
I'm actually teaching him.
Yeah, say learn how to teach, maybe. Don't say learn how to drive, because that's actually what we're doing. So
I actually can't sit, like I have to drive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can't sit in that passenger seat,
Now I love being a passenger because I hate thinking in the car. Like as an instructor, you're thinking. As a driver, you're thinking. So I'm like, anybody wants to drive, fine. I'll just sit back and close my eyes. So I'm all right with it now. Yeah.
It's crazy because like driving, so movies and motion put me to sleep. Okay. But when I'm driving, I'm fine. But if I'm in like the passenger seat, I just start like, just like I guess it's like meditative or something.
Yeah.
Why did you start becoming a driver?
So I'm a high school teacher. I've been a high school teacher for 18 years.
Just kept getting in accidents?
Yeah.
Just like,
yeah. They were like, you need to learn. But I was, my first 7 years, I was teaching literally just driver's ed at the high school I was at. So my degree is health phys ed, driver's ed. And I was teaching just that. Then I started teaching health phys ed, driver's ed. But at that point, I was teaching driver's ed, started to do behind the wheel as a part-time job. I ended up starting my own. And now I teach all seniors, just health phys ed, no more driver's ed, still have the business. And then that class you were talking about, careers in fitness, which is totally focused on nutrition and applied kinesiology.
What like exactly goes on in that class? So obviously nutrition.
It's a year-long course, an elective. The first half of the year we talk nutrition, everything about nutrition. I talk about clients that I have, those case studies to let them know what should you do, and we talk about how to figure out calories for somebody, how to assess them based on the results that they're getting on the scale or energy or this or that, how to reverse diet out, literally everything so that these kids know what's up, and it makes it so easy for them to navigate through the BS that is the nutrition world out there, the intermittent fasting, the keto, the paleo, the Whole30, the isogenics, the Advocare, that vertical diet Chris was just asking me about. Stuff I don't even know. It's great because it's like once you know the stuff, none of that stuff matters.
Is this something that you implemented to the school, or is this something that high schools are doing?
So I proposed it a few years ago.
Yeah.
It got approved, kids enrolled, and then I had to write the curriculum.
Just for seniors, or?
Just for seniors. We wanted to open it up just for seniors, people who wanted to get into this career. We have classes for people who want to get into everything except in the fitness, health and fitness world. So there's people that want to go into PT, personal training, maybe nutritionists, things like that. There's not one class except for phys ed, and you're not learning that stuff in phys ed.
Right.
So I proposed the class, got approved, kids enrolled, had to write the curriculum. So I immediately went back to school and got my master's in exercise science and sport nutrition. So I was able to knock out a bunch of classes before this curriculum had to be written, which was detrimental, or not detrimental, what's the word? Imperative? I can't even think of the word right now. For me writing that curriculum. So a lot of the things that I learned in my master's program is what this curriculum was based on. So they're learning that stuff. And then the second half of the year is kinesiology. A lot of kids have anatomy and physiology in school. We talk about the kinesiology aspect of it, where the muscle insertion points are, the directions of the muscle fibers, the brain connection to the body, and then we get into programming, different types of the technique for powerlifting and Olympic lifting, and then just general principles of programming something, progressive overload, all the things involved, what a program should kind of look like.
Kids probably don't realize how much they're actually getting, especially included in their high school. If I had that, it's crazy. I'm very lucky in the sense of I just knew I wasn't going to get to college. You know? So I checked out the National Personal Training Institute where I actually met Adam, met Barry, Fritz, Carl, Tommy, all those guys. That's awesome. And that's where we went, to the National Personal Training Institute, to get that. So those kids probably don't understand the benefit there. Specifically, let's talk about some of the subjects that you're actually talking about in those classes with nutrition. So you mentioned calories. What are some things that you're talking about, or specifically how do you, when someone says something as broad as okay, how many calories a day should I eat? Yeah. How do you answer that?
So we do talk about the formulas involved to come up with that. But at the end of the day, you can just do a search online. So we showed them that. We showed them the calculation that's used to come up with that. But I'm not going to make these kids memorize that when they can go into MyFitnessPal, enter their weight, their goal weight, how many pounds they want to gain or lose per week. And MyFitnessPal is going to give them a number of calories. You can go on any macro calculator online, put in your information, it's going to tell you how many calories that you should be eating to get to your goal. The problem is that most people overestimate how active they are. So they get some set number of calories from an app like MyFitnessPal or a macro calculator online. They're given these calories. They think they're very active because they train 5 days a week. Meanwhile, they're not very active. They have a sedentary job. They're training 5 hours, maybe, tops. And how much of that is an intense exercise versus there's the warm-up, there's the cool-down, all of that.
5 hours a week total.
A week.
Right.
And they're saying, yeah, I'm very active. I go almost every day. So then the app or the website gives them a large number of calories. So then they start eating that many calories, and nothing happens on the scale. And then they don't know what to do. Well, this sucks. This diet doesn't work. Maybe keto will work. Maybe intermittent fasting will work. And they quit on it because they don't understand the principles of a calorie deficit to lose weight. So with the kids in the class, or for anybody who's trying to figure this out, the best way to figure out what your metabolism is, how many calories you burn, is to record how many calories you're taking in, see how the scale responds, and then adjust from there. So if you actually track everything that you eat, and you're like, I'm eating 2,500 calories, for 2-3 weeks. You got to put time in. People just want results right away. I'm averaging 2,500 calories. Scale hasn't moved. That's your maintenance calories. So now you can go to 2,000 calories, and you're going to lose 1 pound a week if you're in a 500 calorie a day deficit. So,
and how much do you allow people to get? Right. So what if you're counting 6 peanuts? And you're getting to if you're saying, okay, 2 cucumbers and 3, where does the line draw, right? So where does it become unhealthy versus okay, this is going to be beneficial for, understanding what I'm doing and getting appropriate kind of concept of how much I'm eating or what I'm not eating.
Yeah, so everybody's definitely in a different place with mentally. There's a huge psychological aspect with nutrition coaching and with nutrition in general, and that people dismiss. So not every strategy is going to work for everybody. For some people, they want to know, they're okay with it, and it's not going to make them go crazy by counting everything out. They're going to take the pistachios, they're going to see, all right, 2.5 servings is a half a cup with the shells, 28 grams without, and they're going to be fine breaking these up, weighing it out on a scale, doing all that stuff, and they're okay. Other people, then it can become obsessive.
Do you like to de-shell or not de-shell?
I like to eat without the shell.
Without the shell? So you're not de-shelling?
I take the shell off. Is that the shelling?
Are you like biting, or are you in there like a cheek full?
I'm breaking it
with your hands.
With my hands.
Nice, dude.
Should we do like a pistachio breaking
contest? Honestly, I have like 3 or 4 in there, and then I'm like...
Oh, so you break them up like a sunflower?
Yeah, no, so I'll have like 4 here, and I slide one down, and I'm using the front teeth. And then
really?
Crack a shell, and then I got like a little spitter, you know what I mean? Or if I'm in the car, I'm actually de-shelling in the car. So that's probably not something
I'm a hand de-sheller.
At driver school. You're a hand de-sheller? I've never seen that. It's cool.
Really?
We'll have to check that out.
I've never done it that way. I think it's important.
Years of baseball, just sunflower seeds. I used to be a double cheeker.
Sunflower seeds.
Yeah, I could do it in double cheeks. Chew gum at the same time. But yeah, looking at like and understanding how much you're eating, and going back to the calories too, I think that, you know, behavior matters too. Yeah. Right? Like how you feel, like you were alluding to, on how many calories you're eating.
Yep.
You know, how much you're taking in, how much you're expending throughout the day. And then how you feel as well.
Yes.
Because if you're one of those people that you're coming back on a Monday like, that's it, I'm eating 1,000 calories today, I'm not having a carb, I'm not having a bread. Well, obviously that behavior does not work for you. It hasn't worked for you. By Wednesday, you will start crashing again. You will start having these ups and downs, rather than figuring out what is a style in which that you're going to maintain. It's sustainable, it's healthy, you know, and it's something that is realistic, and also something that's going to help you to train hard in the gym. The most important variable, in my opinion, because if you don't eat enough calories, right, and you're in that kind of starvation mode, and you're obsessed with changing that number on the scale, which to me is so minute. You know, you could sit in a sauna and not eat for weeks, and that number will change. You know, that's great. That number's going to change, but you may start looking frail. Your clothes aren't going to look any better, or people aren't going to notice how different you look. Your body won't be harder. It's not like you're going to be getting through better range of motion in the gym, using more weights in the gym, becoming a beast in the gym. You're not going to have any energy to train. You know, you're going to have these crashes, you know. I always tell people too, like, I'm an advocate of understanding, okay, do you want to be like Terrell Owens? You know, do you want to be Thor, or do you want to just show up to the doctor's office where you look lean, you know, you're able to kick ass in the gym, you're athletic, you're healthy in the sense of like we talked about, you're not counting 1.5 peanuts while you're eating, and you're not going nuts. But you're able to have a flexible diet. You know, you're able to have 2 slices on Wednesday might be your cheat night, and Friday might be your cheat night, where you can have 2 slices. You ate good the rest of the day, had some greens for lunch, you had a healthy breakfast, fruits and, you know, oatmeal and stuff like that. And you're able to have those 2 slices and walk away. Not have 5 to 6 of them and have like this just complete binge and breakdown, and also not to feel guilt, because you know that you eat healthy, but once in a while you can have, you know, some stuff that maybe you shouldn't either, you know? Yeah,
no, I completely agree with flexible dieting, and a big part of it too, when somebody's hiring me to be a coach and they have to trust you. So if I'm telling somebody that, hey, this is the amount of carbs, proteins, and fats that you can or should be eating based on what you have verbalized are your goals, then they trust me with it. So I'm not going to have a client being like, well, I'm cutting out carbs. Well, it's like, well, then I'm not the coach for you, because I don't want people doing those types of things. Performance, the way you're feeling, the way you're sleeping, these are huge things to be paying attention to. So I have a lot of clients who have tried different things before. They start eating this way. They feel different in the gym. They're sleeping better because they're getting a well-balanced day of food with their carbs, proteins, and fats. And depending on what the goal is, once we figure out that calorie prescription that they want, they can have pizza if they want to. But also people have to figure out what their triggers are. Some people, they have the chips in the house, or the sleeve of Thin Mints because it's Girl Scout cookie season, and they can have 2 and they're okay with it. Other people, that 2 is going to turn into the whole sleeve. So when you have a certain trigger that you know about yourself, it's okay to leave that stuff out of the house. I'm not going to have this stuff in the house, but then they're going to have people tell them all the time, come on, you got to live a little bit. Have a Girl Scout cookie. It's like, no, my trigger is I'm going to eat the whole sleeve.
I'll make sandwiches. So I put the
stuff.
Peanut butter with the mint, and I make sandwiches. And then I eat it as a goddamn like cake. So I mean,
so people do need to know their triggers. They need to understand that stuff. And they need to give themselves permission to eat. So there's people who, they don't give themselves permission to eat the pizza, or they don't give themselves permission to have the Thin Mint. So then that Friday when they have the piece of pizza, they went against their diet. They didn't have permission to eat it. So now it's like, F it. And they eat it all.
Yes.
And then it just rolls into the weekend. I'm going to start Monday. F it.
And I think
it ruins it for them.
And Alan Cosgrove, I believe, quoted this. He's like, you know, that's like getting a flat tire and just be like, forget it, just total the car. You know, all you got is a flat tire.
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
And like you're saying, I mean, and going back to like behaviors, man, if you're showing up to like everywhere you're going, you're miserable, and it's like, yeah, the scale's down 3 pounds.
Yeah.
You're just like, you know, hate yourself, hate everybody around, you're hangry all the time. Like, is that a healthy way to live?
Yeah,
and I'm sure there's a spurt of that if you're really trying to get in a deficit.
Yeah, there's got to be days that you're hungry.
Right.
And hunger is not an emergency. You know, so there's definitely going to be days like that. But when I'm working with somebody one-on-one with this stuff, I mean, it's like they're letting me know, hey, I got a party Saturday night. And there's a strategy for it.
Right.
It's like, hey, I got a date Friday. And obviously I'm not going to go out on a date with somebody for the first time. I'm married. And not eat because I'm on a diet.
Right.
So it's like there's a strategy to go into it that day, that night, the next day. So
what do you tell people to do?
So typically, if they know they're going to have an overindulgent night, and this is if somebody, and this came up, I was live with this guy, Tommy Clark, yesterday, and this came up, and if somebody has a healthy relationship with food, we don't want them to become a binger and then a non-eater kind of thing. So if somebody has a healthy relationship with food, and it's not an issue, hey, let's go low fat, low carb that day. Because you know that night you're eating out, it's going to be high fat, high carb. So you know you're not going to be able to log exactly what you ate at a restaurant. It's just impossible. So let's go lower calories leading up to it. Maybe if you're hungry beforehand, you know that place is going to have a bunch of bread sitting there at the table and you're going to chow it all. Maybe have a big protein shake before you go out. And now you're out meeting the person for the date. And you're less tempted to eat as much of that bread, you know, because you had a big protein shake or something that filled you up a little bit. And then just have fun. Enjoy the night. You know, if you can, shoot for like a grilled entree and veggies versus getting the fries and mashed potatoes. It's going to be healthier than the other stuff. But if you really want to go all out and just eat whatever, and you know it's a high-fat, high-carb meal, then it might mean the next day, let's go a little bit lower than normal in the calories. What people don't know or don't give enough credit to is these are the weekly averages. And it breaks my heart to see somebody working so hard Monday through Friday. They're in a calorie deficit. They're watching everything they eat. They're controlling everything. They're feeling good, not overeating. And then the weekend comes, they overeat, and they're in such a surplus calorie-wise that it made up for the deficit.
For the week total?
For the week total.
Right.
Because the average matters. 100% matters. So you could be at a deficit all week. You're in a 500-calorie deficit all week. Then you go into a 1,500-calorie surplus on Friday and Saturday. And now you're in maintenance. When you take your total weekly calories, it ends up becoming maintenance calories.
And some people actually gain like 5 pounds over the weekend.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people actually that are in, and I do want to discuss a deficit with you, like how much should people actually be in a deficit when they're starting to really get serious about losing weight. But one thing that I notice that people also don't put into perspective is the fact that while you're training and when you're training hard, metabolically, that's very demanding. If you're doing bike sprints, heavy deadlifts, you know, training hard like weightlifting and stuff like that, running hills, blah, blah, blah. You know, you have to understand, like, you're about to be very hungry. And you're putting a huge metabolic demand on your body. So most people don't factor that. Then they go on this huge, like, can't stop eating, especially like sugars and things along those lines.
And it's easy to justify because I'm training hard.
Right.
And they don't realize that they're overeating.
How do you prevent that?
By knowing how many calories you should be eating. At the end of the day, that's going to be it. And then making sure you're fueling. When you're training hard, you're draining glycogen from your muscles, you're draining that sugar from your muscles, making sure you're getting carbs to fill them back up. I mean, a bodybuilder getting on stage, they're cutting carbs, but the night before the show, they're loading up on carbs. And that's what makes that muscle full, that's what makes it look jacked. So we need those carbs to fill up our muscle. That's what we need for these heavy, powerful movements. So making sure that you're getting enough of that, but also knowing what your goal is. So people, they say they want to lose weight, but they also want to perform amazing in the gym. Well, you're going to have to pick one. You're not going to do both. So people are going to take a little bit of a performance hit when they are in a deficit.
So maybe do like 8 weeks of understanding that you might not be at your top in the gym.
You got to pick a goal.
Right. Don't do both at the same time.
It's just know that you're going to sacrifice a little bit in the gym.
Right.
You might be getting stronger with some stuff. You might be getting weaker, you know, but it's like don't expect it all to happen at the same time. Everybody wants to get they want to gain weight and get jacked without gaining any fat. Well, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to gain weight. You're going to gain some fat with it. You can do it clean bulk, but you're still gaining some fat with that, and then you're going to have to lose it. Somebody losing weight, they're going to sacrifice performance. So I mean, you have people that come in all the time like, I just want to I want to look good, I want to feel really good, and I want to like really start getting better things in the gym. It's like, well, no, you got to pick one in that corner. You can't have all three.
And that kind of goes back to
we're not Torello. We're not these genetic freaks. Right. We're comparing
genetics
ourselves.
Genetics is a big thing, man.
Yeah, we're comparing ourselves to these genetic freaks sometimes, and we can't.
Especially with like Instagram and stuff, and most of them are plastic up and stuff. But you know, and people don't factor genetics too. Like if mom has big hips, you probably have big hips. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also like, you know, my parents, when they were eating bad and ate McDonald's, you know, they got big. If I eat McDonald's, I'm going to get big. Some of my buddies can eat McDonald's. They're not going to get, you know, fat in nature. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I will. So understanding that, they might just get like skinny fat. So understanding that is very important. Yeah. How much of a deficit do you tell people to like start with?
So depending on their size, you want to find the deficit where they're losing around 1% of their body weight is a good number to be at. So a 500 calorie a day deficit is going to add up to 3,500 calories a week. That's 1 pound a week. So if somebody's going to be losing 2 pounds a week, they're going to be at a 1,000 calorie deficit a day, which is fine. It sounds like a lot, but if you're trying to lose weight, you obviously have body fat. That body fat is energy that's sitting on your body waiting to be used. So you can be easily in a 1,000 calorie deficit. You're 200 pounds.
Every day?
Every day.
Even for a beginner?
Yep.
Wow.
Zero problem. Zero problem. So they could be in a large deficit. In our minds, it sounds like a ton. But you got to remember, this person who's 200 pounds, they could be eating 35 to 4,000 calories a day. That's why they're maybe the weight that they're at.
Does this deficit, are you saying the deficit is just strictly not consuming those calories, or is it 500 less calories are consuming plus a couple laps around the neighborhood to get 500 calories?
Either way.
Okay.
So because we can't trust what the calorie burn is on a Fitbit or things like that. There's days that you're working out, there's days that you're not. And it gets too confusing. Knowing that weekly averages matter, you're not going to be like, well, I burned 400 calories in the gym, so I'm going to have an extra 400 calories today, so I'm going to eat 3,000 calories. But then tomorrow I'm not going to the gym, so I'm going to eat 2,100 calories. And trying to figure that out. If I'm eating a little extra than I need because I didn't work out that day, that stuff's going to be there for me for my workout the next day. Right. If that next day I'm training hard and I ended up eating less than what I, needed for the workout, it's like I still have energy in my body. That's what that body fat is. It's energy. So we're going to use it. So to me, the easiest thing to do is you're tracking and recording this stuff. And I have a spreadsheet that I use with clients that tracks everything that's going on, exactly what they're losing, what their average weight is, what their average calories are. So some days are higher, some days are lower. We can see their average. And if they're losing at the safe rate, that 1%, then we know that we're in the right deficit. Whether they're working out or not, it doesn't make a difference, because at the end of the week, they're burning X number of calories. At the end of the week, they're eating this many calories. And if they're in that, 1,000 calorie day, 7,000 calorie deficit a week, they're going to lose 2 pounds a week. And it sounds like a ton, but that's a deficit for maintenance. So you could easily be eating 2,500 calories a day and lose 2 pounds a week. Right. If 3,500 was what you were eating to maintain that mass.
But your point is that when people hear 1,000, they're like, whoa, 1,000 calories, I only eat 2,000. What you're saying is that person who's saying that is eating 3,500.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so the average person underestimates how much they're eating, and they overestimate how much they're burning.
Let me ask you this. Yeah. If someone is gaining weight on the scale, obviously, I'm not talking like a pound where we're saying water, dehydration, salt. I get all that. You can be bloated.
Over time,
you didn't take a dump that day, whatever.
Yeah. I'm
saying if you're gaining weight on the scale weekly, yes, over time, you are overeating.
Yes,
no?
100%.
Okay.
There's nothing else.
There shouldn't be confusion.
No, you're overeating. 100%.
But Derek, I eat this amount of calories.
Correct. So you sit there and have a conversation with the person. I've got a few new clients this past week where they're saying, like, I just really don't think I eat enough. I think, like, maybe I'm under eating. And then you start to talk to them a little bit. And it's like, what do your weekends look like? Do you drink alcohol? Well, yeah, I like to have a few glasses of wine, which actually is a bottle of wine. Right. 1,200 calories. And then when you start drinking, it opens up that hunger hormone. That ghrelin spikes up. You want to eat. Well, it's just a few slices of pizza. Right. It's just da-da-da. And they overeat on the weekend. That's the weekend diet, and they don't realize it. All they're remembering is how little they eat during the week. And the only way to find that out is to start to track what you're eating. Even if you don't know what kind of calories you should be looking for, just using an app like MyFitnessPal and logging everything, attempting, and even that's a learning curve. People take time to learn how to log and learn how to weigh and learn how to enter these things. So
how do you tell people how to log so that they can become more familiar with when they're either going to do that or how often they do it?
Yeah. So everything. If I'm going to eat this right now, with the MyFitnessPal, you can scan it and literally just scan this. And then you got to pay attention to the serving. There's 3 servings in it. And if I eat the whole bag, I'm logging that as 3 servings and I eat the whole thing. And then I know that I just ate, 240 calories.
Right.
If I'm going to have the pistachios, I can count them out. Or if I really want to, if I have a scale, I can weigh them, put them in a bag and bring them with me. I can log it that way. You can literally weigh an apple. You can weigh a banana. You can do all that stuff. It sounds like a lot, but I look at it like your finances. People all the time say, well, how come I don't have a ton of money in the bank? Well, how much did you make last month?
Right.
I don't know. How much did you spend? I don't know. But then they want this result on the scale. How much did you eat? I don't know. How much did you burn? I don't know. And they're not doing anything to pay attention to it. So most people, if the scale's moving up, every person, the scale's moving up, they're over-consuming over the course of
Do you
time.
find that after a ballpark time frame, like how long till people really don't need the scale and stuff anymore?
With this stuff?
Everybody's different.
So the goal is always to get to lifestyle mode where you're not tracking. I have not tracked anything in 2 years. I don't pay attention to it.
But you're pretty sure you're within what you should
Yeah, because the scale's staying the same.
Right.
So I'm eating at maintenance. But if I want to start to fine tune something, hey, summer's coming up, body fat percentage might be up a little bit right now. If I want to fine tune, then I'm going to start to track and weigh everything.
Where'd you get the scale at?
Like Amazon or Bed Bath & Beyond. But I always want to get a scale, get the digital one where you can change from grams to ounces and things like that. So
I had a scale like that in high school.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't for nutrition.
Yeah. Okay. We don't talk about that. So with something like this, like with peanut butter, people will scoop out a tablespoon of peanut butter and they'll think they had a tablespoon. Well, maybe it was mounded up, whatever. So you take that spoon, put it on here, zero it out.
Right.
If it weren't low, take that, scoop up the peanut butter, put it down, and now I can log it with actually how many grams of peanut butter I had.
And as simple as that sounds, like what a learning curve that is for understanding. Like, okay, think about what you're getting there. You're eyeballing it, you're seeing it, you're understanding it. You know how much. It's a generalization.
Yep.
Not only that, now if you're logging, you know, oh, okay, damn, at 8:30 every night for some reason, I take this scoop of peanut butter that I don't equate for.
Yeah.
And my scoop, first off, was 3 scoops instead of what it should have been on the scale. Now I'm eating 300 calories without even realizing it. And what a great point you made with like not understanding that, Saturday was Billy's birthday party that you forgot about. Tuesday was bowling night. And at bowling night, we always have wings. It's part of our thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's so easy.
Sunday,
a couple beers, a couple slices of pizza, a couple wings is 1,000 calories.
And there's nothing wrong with it, but if you're really trying to get it down, you've got to factor that in, man.
Yeah,
there shouldn't
the
be
whole
confusion.
thing is boiled down to what are your goals.
Right.
And your new self is going to cost you your old self, potentially. It's like there's things that are going to change. We can't have it all.
Right.
With time and awareness, you start to develop habits. It's like to hit the protein goal that I might have somebody on. They develop habits. I got to have this for breakfast. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have this. And things can vary. It's like get a variety of food. The best thing you can do, I don't take a multivitamin. I take a fish oil. Get a variety of food, real food, unprocessed. If you can't kill it, you can't grow it, don't eat it. It comes from a farm or a factory. I say those two things all the time. But I can have my junk food. I can have those things if it's accounted for. But you create these habits of what your meals tend to look like, what your day tends to look like. And once you get to that goal and you start to kind of track less and less and less, and the ideal situation is you're at the point where you've just developed habits. You can start to eyeball like what the size of a fruit is. But if you have specific goals and you want to find answers to why you're not losing or gaining, for people who want to gain weight, you have to start measuring. I got clients that want to gain weight. Right. They're eating over 3,000 calories a day, and they're like, it's hard. And I'm like, yeah, it's hard to gain weight. And it takes
maybe even harder.
Because
you can't go take a nap without stuffing a peanut butter jelly sandwich.
It's difficult.
You have to eat at a certain time, And that's one thing, I really like about you too, is you actually look healthy, right? You seem happy. And your skin looks good and stuff like that. Like so many people.
57 years old. No, I'm not.
I was gonna be like, you blew my mind.
You're like, I'll hire you now. No, I'm 40.
But that's important. You look great, brother. But the point is, like, how many people are doing certain nutritions, like we alluded to, and they just don't look healthy. They don't seem happy, right? They don't seem healthy, right? Yeah. And you should be eating and training to feel happy, to feel healthy. That's what we're doing here. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Quality years on the earth, you know, not to look like someone else or be a certain way or because you have to do this. It's the diet that you feel good on that you're going to be able to survive on for several years in a very healthy demeanor that will not hurt you for years to come. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. You eat like that, but you're going to have intestinal problems, you know what I mean? Kidney problems. You're going to have high blood pressure and stuff like that. Yeah. So, you know, what is it for you that you can walk around living a happy and healthy life, you know? You were talking about what you do eat every day. So what, maybe for you, maybe we could just use yourself, or what are you telling people? I know it's a very broad question. Everybody's different. But what are you telling people? What does a normal day of eating look like? If you can lay that out.
So obviously everybody's got different schedules. Some people don't have the ability to eat 6-7 times a day. Or they just don't want to pack things. They don't have a fridge at work. They don't want to carry a cooler. Whatever their situation is, but it's finding out what kind of routine generally works for you. A lot of people, they got 3 solid meals. They get used to looking at, I got this much protein, and you can eyeball sizes, again, depending on what your goals are with everything. I got this much protein, this much veggies, this much carbs, and I'm having this 3 times a day, and that's all I need. I can be traveling, and I know I can go out to a place, get an entree. I need this much chicken, this much veggies, this much carbs. And if I'm eating those 3 meals a day while on vacation, I'm going to come back probably weighing the same. You know, so it's figuring out that routine for you and what it's going to take to get to the numbers that you're attempting to get to. For me, I work out in the morning. Like you said, I generally up at 4:30. I work out on an empty stomach. Unless I'm really starving, I might have like a banana or something. But I'll work out on an empty stomach. I come home and I have generally a couple eggs, a bunch of egg whites, a couple pieces of toast or oatmeal, something like that. I'm not having toast and oatmeal. I just know that I'm getting my protein, I'm getting my fat, I'm getting my carb source from either.
How come you're not having toast and oatmeal? I think it's important that we know.
For me, it's just that's how I control my portion size. I'm having my slice or 2 of toast, or I'm having my oatmeal.
Because so many people look at that like, well, it's whole wheat.
Yeah.
So, like, is that a huge mistake that you see people making?
Yeah, they're taking something that they know is good and eating too much of it, potentially. So it's like, well, I got like sprouted bread. It's like, oh, it's sprouted bread. I can have that. There's only 70 and they have 3-4 slices. So it's like 300 calories. And you're trying to eat 1,500 for the day, and it's already 6 o'clock in the morning, and you've already taken a big dent. Or they feel bad throwing out the yolk of their eggs. It's like, well, that's a waste of eggs. Well, it's a waste of calories. You know, you don't need 6 egg yolks. You know, 1 or 2. Get your good fats, get your good nutrients, and the rest can be the egg whites. I mean, how much is a dozen eggs? A couple bucks. I mean, you're talking, you go through half a dozen eggs a day, it's $1 for your breakfast. So that's my routine. Some people, they just prefer to have maybe a protein shake in the morning, get their protein, maybe an apple or banana. So they're looking at looking at carb source, protein source, maybe a fat source. I know that a couple hours later I'm having, for me, it's a protein bar every day, like around 9 o'clock. I bring it with me to work. It's a period off from teaching. I have a protein bar.
What kind?
Either Quest protein bars. I like them. 1 bars I've been really liking lately. You want to find that ratio where there's like 20 grams of protein for around 200 calories.
Did you see with the pure cookie protein bar or protein cookie?
Like those Lenny and Larry's and things like that?
16 grams, and people don't realize 422 calories with all the BS that's in it.
It's crazy. You know? Yeah, I mean, people, they'll buy those things not realizing how many calories are in it. They see it's a protein cookie, and they're like, oh, sweet, I can eat that.
Right. Better than a regular cookie.
Better than a regular cookie. And I'm like, just get a regular cookie, save some money, get a regular cookie and a protein shake.
Like, why not? And ball the fuck out.
Yeah, what's the point? You could have
some milk going.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous. You know, and then
stop playing games.
Yeah, people are like, well, there's Kodiak cakes. Are they better? And it's like, yeah, sure, there's protein in them, but they're still potentially packed with calories.
Eat cookies and drink protein shake.
Yeah, are you cooking it in oil? Like, all this stuff adds up that people are just unaware of. So like journaling it either in an app, or if they don't want to use an app, writing every single thing down, taking pictures of it, looking at it at the end of the day, and really assessing what's going in. But my meal prep is what kind of saves me with overdoing things. We always meal prep on Sundays and Wednesdays. My wife does most of it. All of it. I don't do anything. So she takes care of that. And it's like cooking mass amounts of chicken. You get the steamer bags for your veggies or your potatoes. If you don't feel like cooking all that stuff, I mean, those frozen things are frozen when they're fresh. I mean, they're fine to eat.
They're fine?
They're fine. Yeah, the frozen fruits and vegetables are frozen when they are like picked. So they're actually fresh.
You don't mind fruit?
No. Fruit's fine. And then fruit's getting a bad rap too. Oh, there's too much sugar in it. Well, it's like, how much
Don't eat
fruit?
the whole pineapple.
Yeah.
Don't eat the whole thing.
And it's like, people are making smoothies.
Yeah.
And it's easy to put a lot in. And now it's like a 500 calorie smoothie. But the fruit that you're getting, I mean, it's loaded with fiber, so it's not causing that insulin spike the way that other sugar gets, that causes, like a Snickers bar, is going to cause a different response in your body than an apple or a banana.
Of course.
And it's great if you feel like hungry, have an apple. And a lot of times you realize, like, oh, I'm not that hungry.
Right.
Take the edge off. A lot of times your brain gets confused if you're dehydrated, because we were talking before this about water. Get half your body weight in water. You weigh 200 pounds, try to get 100 ounces. You're training, get extra water before.
How important is that, water and sleep?
Humongous.
Yeah. I think
sleep is, the biggest thing for testosterone, HGH levels, all that stuff.
To me, I think it's the two most important variables before anything else.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to get that stuff in order. People ask all the time, like, what can I do? What kind of diet to get my testosterone up? It's like sleep. Yeah, I sleep like shit. Yeah, sleep. Use an app to get your mind at rest. Fall asleep early. Get a solid 7 to 9 hours.
Sleep and stress management, because how many people can't control stress levels? Whether you want to meditate or not, I never push that on someone, but like finding something that decreases those high stress levels, those high demands that can get you out of those realms of, stressful work days, stress with the kids, family, everything else that's going on. Whether you realize it or not, you have stressors in your life. Stress just comes from volume in general. Yeah. A lot of text messages, a lot of mail, whatever. And then, so if you're not sleeping, plus you don't manage your stress levels with walks, meditation,
hormone levels are out of whack.
You start storing cortisol, you start storing body fat.
Yep. Testosterone goes down, all that stuff. And you're stressed out, so what do you want? You want to have some beers.
Sugar.
Beers are high estrogenic, so all these things.
Protein cookie.
Rich Caskey said he just ordered Domino's for you too. Hope you're hungry.
We are. Bring it up. We'll put protein on it.
It fits my macros today, so I'll be over. I'm allowed to have, let me check, 3.5 slices and 1 wing.
Last question on, and then, sorry, I cut you off. No. And then I want to do one more question on calories, and I want to get to actually going further into macros and what exactly they are, the simplest definition of them. So, sorry, you were saying, so you have oatmeal in the morning, right? You have water and oatmeal.
I'll have my protein typically eggs. Sometimes a shake if I don't have time to make the eggs, but typically eggs, egg whites, and my oatmeal or toast. A few hours later, I have a bar, another 200 calories, 20 grams of protein. Then I have my meal prep. I live close enough to where I work, so I go home, microwave a meal. Protein source and either a carb source or a veggie source. I usually vary that up instead of having both. I could probably use both. The veggies are such a low calorie item that I would really look habit-wise to try to get veggies in every meal. A couple hours later, I'll have another meal when I get done work. And then I have to go to my other job sometimes. And then a couple hours later, I'm having another meal. And then potentially before bed, another meal, maybe an entire pint of Halo Top ice cream, if it's fitting in the calories. But I get into the routine of like, there's times where, hey, I might have went a long stretch, 6 hours without eating, and I know that I can just have more that night. Other times that I'm not tracking and paying attention to.
Which is a low-calorie protein ice cream, for those of you who don't know. And also, what about eating before bed then? Like,
total lie.
I have no problem with it, right?
Total lie. So the reason that most people should not eat after a certain time is because after a certain time they eat too much.
Right.
So that's why intermittent fasting works for people. Not because intermittent fasting does anything special at all, but it's closing the window of time that you can eat. So you close the window of time that you can eat, your chances of overeating are less. Could you overeat in a 7-hour window? 100%. Go to McDonald's 4 times in 7 hours. Right. You're going to be overeating. But certain people, there's that trigger. Like after 7 o'clock, they're just hunting the cabinets. The kids go to bed and they're like, all right, now my kid's not going to call me out for eating their fruit snacks. And then they start eating.
That problem happened earlier in the day is what you're saying. That problem happened because they didn't eat at a certain time or like they didn't have enough nutrient-dense foods.
Yeah, and plus the message, your mind wants nutrients. So what you said is great. So if you're eating a lot of processed food, your mind literally is like, I got nothing from that. Let's try again. and it's shooting out this hunger hormone. So that's a big part of why these foods don't fill you up. Your body's like, nope, I got nothing. Try again. Try again. It's like, you know, pulling the slot. Try again. And then you eat more fruit snacks.
Right.
You have some popcorn. Nope, I didn't get anything. I didn't get anything. And you get to the point where you eat so much that you're just stuffed.
And the problem is you keep eating more and more and more. So not only are you feeding the problem through not habit building like you're talking about, through not being conscious of what, when, and how come it's happening, but you're eating 2 bags of popcorn.
Yeah.
You know, you need more and more, and then it becomes more often. I actually gained 2013, I was 70 pounds heavier, you know, because I was just finishing plates for the first time and then finishing other people's plates and then having snack time. And it was actually, you know, the first time I like moved out of my house, right? So like now I'm buying my own food and then I'm like, well, I'm paying for it, so I'm eating it. I'm finishing everything. I was eating leftovers. I never ate leftovers before, you know, so, and then you want
even
more of
those
those leftovers.
And don't take leftovers.
Right.
Unless it's like a healthy meal.
Right.
But those little things, people were so ingrained, like this starvation mindset of like, when I might not get food again. You know, it's like we're not cavemen anymore.
Right.
You know, so
you're
it's
gonna
like
eat tomorrow.
Yeah, and you're told that's a waste. That's a waste. You know, you're gonna throw that out. It's like, it's a waste of food. It's not even real food. This is garbage meal that I got out.
It's gonna make you hungrier later. It's gonna make you feel like shit. You're gonna be moody. You're gonna be negative again over shit that doesn't even matter in the real world.
I came out to enjoy a meal. I didn't finish it. Yeah, I'm good.
Speaking of cavemen, when does Adam eat? I mean, is he just out there in the...
I don't think he does.
You are a beast, Adam Ferris. You savage. He's out there. I saw him in the winter with those, he had his beard crystalled in snowflakes. Dude, you're a beast, man. The way you're just putting miles out there.
It's out of control. And then this guy's doing
eating leaves off the trees.
He's doing the Ranger games. He's like, dude, I'm weak. I can't. I'm weak. And I'm like, dude, you just ran like 100 miles in the last 8 days.
The world's toughest mutter.
Yeah, like,
eating the berries off trees. You're a beast, brother.
He's an animal.
Last question on calories. I give a generic calorie base, right? So I usually tell people that want to decrease body fat and decrease weight to eat body weight times 11 or 12. Or I tell people that, you know, my athletes that want to bulk up for the season or just dudes that want to bulk up for the beach or whatever, body weight times 14.
Yeah. So I teach that in my nutrition class. I'm like, all right, so you don't need another formula, but you can get a rough idea pretty quick on things with getter math or trainer math. We'll call it. Just it's like the trainer math. It's like because it doesn't sound nice to say getter math. I think, but yeah, just getter math for a woman times 8, 10, or 12 would be like one of those 3 numbers. So you're 150 pounds, you can go for 1,500 calories. See how the scale moves. Their body weight times 10. For guys, I would go with 10, 12, or 14. So similar to the numbers that you're saying. But that's a great starting point. You just have a number, hit it. If the scale's not moving, then you adjust. And it's the best way to find out. So just because body weight times 11, if the scale's not moving, first you have to find out where you accurately recording. You're sitting down talking about stuff. Well, yeah, I just guessed on that. I just did a generic search for that. I did this or that. I got a client that went 7 weeks guessing. And if she's watching, she knows exactly who she is, and she'll tell people about it. But 7 weeks just guessing. Making beef stew, but doing a generic search in MyFitnessPal for beef stew. Did you measure out 1.2 cups? No.
Right.
Well, you logged 1.2 cups. Is that how much you had of the beef stew? No. Did you weigh out that 4 ounces of salad that you had with the oil on it? No. Okay, remember you were excited because you logged 5 ounces of wine? Well, you logged 3.5.
And this is important because,
And as soon as she started doing it, the next day, after this conversation,
she has a concept.
She texts me. She's like, "Oh my God, my eyes have been opened."
Right.
And I'm like, "What?" She goes, "I legit weighed out the peanut butter. I was easily eating 3 or 4 tablespoons, and 1 was plenty. I'm doing da-da-da-da." And I go, "How you feeling?" She's like, "I'm starving." I'm like, "Now you know what 1,200 calories feels like."
Right.
Because it's like, I'm eating 1,200. I'm not even hungry, and the scale's not moving. She was easily eating 2,000 calories a day. Then as soon as she started hitting those numbers, we didn't have to make it 1,200 anymore. It's like, all right, now we can have a realistic number because there's different strategies to play with somebody with how to get them to where they want to be. And we can bring the number up, starts hitting that, boom, 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 boom. The scale starts dropping.
And also, again, applying how often you're training. Like if you're training 2-3 times a week, that's phenomenal, you know. we're not, Hollywood actors here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're training 2-3 times a week, sometimes that's all I train as a trainer. So that's where nutrition is so important.
Yeah.
But what are you doing on your off days, right? So like, can you take a business call while you're walking and get your 10,000 steps in for the day, which is what I try to recommend, and get a 15-minute walk on a 15-minute phone call and do things along those lines? Can you bang out push-ups and jumping jacks and stuff on a 5-minute clock to get the heart rate up on days where you're not training? If you are someone who's actually training 5-6 times a week, in our case, you're doing a couple personals, a couple classes, and you're whatever, you're going for a run on weekends, whatever. Are you factoring that into the amount of calories that you are consuming also, so that way you're not eating too little like we were talking about.
So again, the scale's going to show it, and then everything that we talked about before with how they're feeling.
Right.
So I've had a few clients as well that, stick with me for a longer period of time than I've everybody do 3 months with me.
Yeah.
It takes time to learn. And that's my goal, is to educate them on how to be successful when they're done with me. So after a period of time, if you're in a deficit for like 12 weeks, it's probably getting close to that time where your body has caught up metabolism-wise. This is stuff I talk about in the seminars and draw it out and kind of explain it. But if you're always eating 2,500 calories, you're in a deficit. At a certain point, your body is going to balance out. These are my classes. At a certain point, you're going to burn what you eat.
Because people think they should do this all year.
Correct. And that's not the case. So your body will. It's called metabolic adaptation. Your body is going to balance out. You naturally crave a certain number of calories because that's what you're used to eating, and your body wants to stay. And anybody watching knows they probably lost weight, and then when they came off the diet, went right back to where they were. Lost weight, went right back to where they were, maybe even a little bit more. We have these natural set points that it's hard to break through. So our body wants to be in balance. You're eating 1,500 calories a day, you're burning less and less and less and less. You get tired, you get sleepy, you're not working out as hard in the gym, you're not moving around the house as much, you're not doing those walks, parking further from places, taking the stairs. All that stuff slows down, that non-exercise activity thermogenesis, neat. So all that happens, and then you eventually catch up, you adapt metabolically. So now the diet stopped working. Why did the diet stop working? And that's what everybody thinks. So what do? I'm done with this diet. They go right back to eating regular. Boom, now they're over-consuming way more than what their metabolism's at now. And they gain all the weight back. So I've had a couple clients where it's like, you're showing signs of metabolic adaptation. We've been in a deficit for a period of time. I know you want to see that scale go down below this big number that you've been waiting for. But you're going to hit a wall hard. Getting injured in the gym, not sleeping well, wanting to binge, losing focus, losing motivation.
Hating yourself.
All these signs, yeah. So it's like, we need to start adding calories, and this is how you fix someone's metabolism. And this is what's so exciting. Like, I get pumped up thinking about how this has worked for people. Add 100 calories. Just 100. Coming out of the diet is just as important as getting into it. Add 100 calories. Would you just give yourself energy? What are you going to do? Feel better. So most of the time, you add 100 calories, a small amount, for a week. Just 100 calories a day. Now we're at 1,600 instead of 1,500, whatever the number was. You're going to have more energy. You're going to burn that extra 100 calories. In the gym, you just lift harder, go harder. Scale doesn't move. A lot of times it doesn't. It might budge a little bit because you're adding calories, water retention. Bump another 100. You have more energy. You're feeling great, sleeping better, recovering better, working out harder in the gym. Your metabolism's catching up. Another 100. Now you're at 1,800. You're fixing your metabolism over time. So I had one woman, and this happened to a couple people, but most recently, and she's watched, she knows who she is, and all our friends know who she is, because she's like, and I post about her, because she's like, how is this possible? We bumped her up 300 calories over time, and she ended up dropping to this number that she was pumped about trying to get to and wanting to cut for. But by adding calories and giving her more energy, she actually lost weight adding calories.
And again, this happened because why? She was sleeping better, her stress hormones weren't going nuts, and she was training harder in the gym.
You're moving more. When you are in a deficit for too long, your body's going to shut down. You're just unmotivated, not moving. But all the things that you said, walking around, cleaning up around the house. You know when you're just like, you have a ton of energy and you're like cleaning up, you're doing all this stuff, you're burning calories. So if you stop giving yourself energy, you're not going to have energy to do stuff. So you add those calories back. Now, don't be confused, meaning like, I should eat more to lose weight. And that's another problem. People hear this like, I'm not eating enough, I should eat more. And then they just start randomly eating more and it's like, it's not working.
Believing everything you read and just doing what you read. You know?
The only way you know is if you're tracking stuff, and this typically happens over a period of time where somebody's accurately tracking and they're in a deficit for a period of time and it just catches up to them. And now you have to reverse out. You build your metabolism up. I had a client who lost 20, 25 pounds with me on his own reverse dieted for 6 weeks. Add another 800 calories. The scale only went up like 2-3 pounds. And then as soon as he got back into deficit, busted through a plateau. Now it's going to happen again. It gets harder and harder every time you lose weight. You know,
Gotcha.
So that's what's exciting with it. You got to look at food as energy, and it takes time, and understand it's years long sometimes for people. They'll look at somebody's body and be like, "Oh, look like that." It's like that was. Dude, I'm 40 years old.
Right.
I've been lifting, you know, my whole life.
10-day fixes. There's no such thing.
Yeah, it's just be patient with it. This is a lifestyle, and I really try to talk about with people. It's like stop chasing the goal, chase the lifestyle. Like you want to be healthy. You like all the stuff that you were saying. You know, it's like I want to feel good in the gym. I want to have good energy. I want to, you know, have clear skin, and what all those feelings that we want, that we think we're going to have in a certain physique. You can have that now by simply just mentally being like, no, this is the life I'm going to live now. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to train. I'm going to do these things. I'm going to stop chasing this gold at the end of the rainbow, and I'm going to ride the rainbow. You know what I'm saying?
I do, because not to beat a dead horse, but, and people hear that, and I think people actually get pissed. Like, oh, this message again? Oh, it's so cheesy. It's so simple, you know, for you to say, or whatever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, listen.
Get up at 4 a.m.
Yeah,
Come here and work out every day. Pay attention to your food.
Yeah,
it's like lifestyle things that.
And to think the naivety behind thinking that this is going to be a quick thing. And you have so many things that you have to change and habits, like you're saying, that you have to build, you know. And you probably have a metabolic issue going on that you have to change, you know. You have to come to terms with what you like and what you don't like, and start applying yourself in a whole different demeanor. So to think that this is something and all these steps will happen, you know, that's my thing too. And also be ready to work hard, you know what I mean? And enjoy the process that it's going to take to get there. That's the biggest thing. You know, you don't like yourself more that you're getting up and you're getting after it. I don't care if you have a bag that you're bringing from work. That's a better way to live than going home and, you know, not doing anything about it. You know what I'm saying? You're getting into environments where you're challenging yourself and you're doing things that you never thought that you could do before. Maybe even signing up for events that you never even imagined, let alone training for, and then crushing. You know, and then feeling good every day by putting, you know, human medicine into your body, like vegetables, like fruits, you know, and literally changing the way in which that you're living. You're adding years to your life. You're setting an example for your family, you know. You don't feel tired. You feel better. You want to do a little bit more. You're gaining momentum. You know what I'm saying? Like, why not try? And also, like, if you're someone who's like, well, I want to look this way in 10 days, and you're putting these crazy time frames, listen, fall in love with everything that comes with this and why you're actually doing it. You know, you're someone, you know, been doing this for 10 years. I'm still learning, man. You're still picking up one thing every day. There's still someone out there that's giving me a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of motivation, and something new that I can apply. You know what I mean? And you have to do that too. You know, small goals, micro progression, micro goals, you know, for long-term results. Fall in love with the lifestyle, not this short-term BS that's not going to work. That's going to make you feel like you're a failure again, you know, and it's going to make you almost feel like you're sneaking around, eating like all this stuff that you know that you shouldn't be eating, and then maybe even lying about what you were eating, you know, on the weekend, you know. So, you know, get yourself to the point where you are, this is who you are and what you do, you know. Macros. The simple breakdown. What are macros?
Protein, carbs, and fats are macros. So when you hear or they say if it fits your macros, they're talking about if you can have that pizza, you can have that cookie, if it fits within how many carbs you can have or fat or protein that you can have for the day. Calories are king when it determines the scale. Protein's going to be the next thing. You can hit your body weight in protein, no problem. You're never going to find a study anywhere that says eating your body weight in protein, meaning you weigh 200 pounds, you can have 200 grams, that's detrimental in any way. It's not going to cause health problems. You're fine. Protein's going to make you feel full. It's going to rebuild tissue. It helps your immune system. It's the only macro that we actually need a minimum amount to survive. So protein's good. Calories, we just figure out protein. You want to eat, you know, a decent amount of it because all those reasons. Big reason if you're at a deficit is you want to feel full. You don't want to be hungry all the time. After that, the carbs and fats really, all the studies show it really makes no difference. If you like more fats than carbs, cool. If you're training heavy, lifting hard, I would say get those carbs. But it really won't matter. Well, definitely after a workout. That anabolic window, I was talking to Chris about it, the anabolic window is a myth with the protein, but carbs are real. So you do want to get those carbs in after the workout, as soon as you can. 30, 60 minutes is great. And obviously, if you're going to do something to purposely get carbs in, you might as well just get some protein with that meal anyway.
Sweet potato.
Yeah, oats, sweet potato, fruit, any source. If somebody's a hardcore athlete, they're tearing their gut up. Like these CrossFit Games athletes, a lot of them are not healthy. They're eating so much like glycobombs and so much processed sugar and these sugar things to get through 3 training sessions a day.
Like what, Gatorade and...
Yeah, and just volumes of it. You're talking 500 grams a day of processed carbs. You can't eat that with potatoes. You're going to be stuffed. You're going to have to eat garbage. But again, they're shooting for performance at elite level. The average person doesn't need to have much. You have a decent portion of your carbs that you're allotted for that day after your workout. You can experiment with it, see how you feel, get 30 to 50 grams if you have 150 for the day after the workout. But you kind of see how you feel. At the end of the day, your total calories and all that stuff, that's what's fueling your workouts, that's what's helping you recover. But calories, number 1 for the scale. Protein, number 2, especially if you're in a deficit. And then carbs and fats, they can fill in the rest of the calories as they are.
Sleep and stress management.
Yeah.
White potatoes or sweet potatoes,
both.
white rice, brown rice, doesn't
matter.
matter.
They both got different nutrients,
Yes.
Similar calories. Doesn't make a difference. White rice, brown rice, doesn't make much of a difference. Some people, they digest brown rice better. Brown rice is less processed. There's more phytonutrients and things like that. So don't eat just white rice. But I'd say get both. If you really like white, get some brown and some white. It's not the end of the world.
Where you at with dairy? Milk?
I would say I'm not a big dairy eater except for fermented dairy, Greek yogurts. I don't eat cereal with milk in it often at all. My Halo Top ice cream, there's dairy in that.
Why Greek yogurt probiotics? Or?
Yeah, your body handles things like that better. So I would say like a serving or so of regular dairy is cool. Things like yogurts, the fermented stuff, cottage cheese, your body can handle generally a little bit more, but everybody's so different with that, with how they respond to it. Some people have one thing in dairy and they're tore up.
What other fats do you like just avocado and...
Avocado, egg yolks, fish. Fish is slamming macro-wise. Get some scallops, some shrimp. I mean, that's low fat, the scallops and shrimp, and high protein, low calorie. So crush some fish. That Mediterranean diet is basically paleo, but fish. You're eating real foods. Nuts, sometimes nut butters. I don't eat a ton of fats. I don't know what else I really have in my day that's fats. Yolks, avocado. I don't even really cook with olive oil.
Gotcha.
So I'm probably getting plenty with those things.
When you're driving, are you blasting music?
On my own?
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you listening to?
Depends where I'm going.
Do you let the kids play with it? Do you let the kids?
Oh, you're
choose
talking
music?
about instructor?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't do that stuff these days. I don't get behind the wheel too much these days, but I don't blast the music.
No.
But if it's an awkward ride,
Yeah.
and sometimes they're just not used to quiet.
Have they ever been like, what is can I go right here? And it's like, there's no right. And...
Yeah, I had a kid who just turned into Taco Bell, with no signal. We're driving up the pike. I'm like, all right, we're gonna go up here. And he just
He wanted Taco Bell. I like
this.
this.
How you doing? Grab the wheel.
What's it now?
I wanted to get Taco Bell.
He wanted a
"You're not doing
quesadilla."
that." He thought he was cool or something. So yeah, he did not get Taco Bell. But yeah, during lessons, a little bit of music isn't bad. Helps sometimes help kids calm down.
Dude, I really appreciate you doing this, man. Thank you for the shirt. You got Jimmy Nutrition shirt. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Moves me up to a 6.5 on the Richter scale. Dude, I really appreciate your time. That was awesome. Anything you want to add? Where can people contact you? And Adam, I appreciate you, giving me the word about Jimmy to have him on the podcast tonight.
Yeah. No, I look forward to when Adam comes on here.
Yes.
But,
be on soon, brother.
Yeah, jimmynutrition.com is my website. Just talks about a little bit my coaching style, habit-based, progressive, things like that. I'm just there for people to, deal with things as they come. And then on Instagram, I pretty much just post on Instagram, and that stuff shows up on Facebook. So the Facebook business page is at Jimmy Nutrition Coach, Instagram at Jimmy Nutrition. And, you know, I talk about more than just food, you know, all the stuff that we talk about, wellness, sleep, health, being happy.
You get me motivated, dude. I see her 4:30 a.m. water pour.
I went a few days without pouring water, and I had people being like, "Yo, where's the water?"
Yeah,
I like what?
Listen,
like,
I
look forward to the water. I was like, "Are you serious?" Mm-hmm. And like a handful of people said it, so I was like, "Damn, if I miss more than a day."
I'm doing it with you.
But even that stuff, man, like everything that you were saying was like trying to get to that place. You got to surround yourself with accountability. You got to surround yourself with people with similar goals.
That's true.
You know, so these people are hanging out with people that have not at all the same goals as them on the weekends. It's ruining things. They're, you know, just polluting their mind with garbage. So it's like a little thing like me posting my water. If that's getting me up and going to the gym, cool.
Yes.
It's like, and there's times where like my buddy can't go with me. I'm like, shit, damn. I didn't post water yesterday. He can't go with me this morning, so I got to get up and go. So I'm making myself accountable with posts. I make myself accountable with friends, the people that I'm around. So that's what everybody needs to do, and that's why, you know, you're successful with stuff. It's because you're surrounding yourself with people that are on the same road. So it's huge. Accountability cannot be underestimated.
It's so vital and so essential for your success. And you almost, I feel like sometimes I'm just at battle and war, just cutting away at negativity.
Why am I doing this?
Yeah, just getting anybody that, you know, you can't benefit from in a positive demeanor. You know, that's going to improve you as a person, or that you can learn from, or that's going to send you and give you positive vibes that you can, again, learn from or build off of, you know. And if there are people in your life that are hating on you because you're trying to, you know, and a joke and stuff like that is important, actually. I think that it's important not to be too stiff or uptight with this stuff either. However, if there's people that are actually hating on you and actually giving you a hard time, and actually trying, maybe not even saying hurtful things, but actually peer pressuring you into coming in. Let's just do that. You know, just 4 slices.
I'm going to the gym. And like that person might have a plan to go to the gym at 6 a.m. It's like, oh, come on, you don't have to go.
Dude, we can watch the 8th episode. That's eliminating those people is a very difficult thing, and especially the ones that put you down and put you in those scenarios. But it's essential. And then on the flip side, getting into environments like you were saying, like
that's like group fitness is
like having Instagrams that actually inspire you, and then having, you know, like for me, I tell people, like, the way I set this up is the way, you know, the way I would look for a gym and where I would want to sign up, and that's in an atmosphere that, you know, the music's on, the weights are clanking, it's exciting. I got someone, if I'm a new person, that's like, hey, how you doing? What's up? Welcome to our gym. You know, welcome to our family. We're going to show you this. We're going to help you with this. We're going to get you to where you want to be. You know, you're going to have a good time with this. And like we said, it's going to be your lifestyle. You have to find those environments, and then good job. Not like, oh, you just
when are you coming again?
Exactly.
When are we going to see
you
again?
did 10 push-ups? I can do 11 push-ups. There's none of that in here. People know that, you know. But not just in here. I'm saying you have to find, and there's tons of environments like that. And there's tons of people out there that are supportive in those demeanors. And that's one thing that's not talked about. And I'm telling you, man, the biggest thing that you can do to help yourself is get everybody that's negative and everybody that tries to pull you down, you know, out of your life and around the people that will build you up.
Yeah, people are just pulling you in a different direction than what you want to do. You know, it's like they might not even be realizing, like you said, subconsciously, like not even dragging you down or come on. It's like, but just pulling you in directions that you're not interested in anymore. And it's like sometimes you don't got to cut them off and have this hard conversation. And it's just like, I can't make it. Oh, he can never make it anymore, blah, blah, blah. But maybe kind of get these people out of your lives.
You can say no, for sure.
Pulling you away. And that's a huge thing, is just being able to say no to things. To get to where you need to go. You know, you need to be able to say no. You need to cut some things out. Really figure out all this stuff goes back to really figure out, what do you want? What do you want your life to look like? And then now taking those steps to get there. Surrounding yourself with people who have similar goals. Cutting out or avoiding those people, you know, as much as you can. So yeah, it's all. That's why I love, like, the nutrition game, the fitness game, because it applies to just your entire life. It just applies to your entire life. Nobody's like, oh, well, science. You know, or like, you know, the reason I like math. But this stuff, it does, because the things that you learn in the gym, you learn how to push through barriers. You learn that you're capable of more than you think. And your mind lies to you. That's why I love seeing that fear is a liar. I always say, like, your mind lies to you. And other people I talk about that. Not following the people on social media that are posting pictures of themselves in their shirt all the time. Like, why are you following these people?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's not about,
it's
all about them.
Yeah,
right.
It's like you're following these people that you think are like and they're supposed to be fitspiration. All they're doing is posting pictures of themselves and their like bodies, and you're like, all this is doing is making me feel bad.
Right.
You know, not following those people, following people that are putting out information that's helpful. Not just like, I'm following all these fitness people.
Right.
You feel good at following all these fitness people. I'm trying to surround myself with fitness people. It's like, but these people are just making you feel bad. You know, you gotta cut that stuff out. You gotta keep your mind right. So, man.
Dude, thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Any questions you have for us, let us know. Check out Jimmy's stuff. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Awesome time, brother.
Thanks,
thank
brother.
you, man.